Good afternoon. I'm Miss Jackson, Sally's third grade teacher, and I'm so glad we could meet today. It's truly a pleasure to work with Sally. She brings such positive energy to our classroom, as I'm sure you guys both see at home as well. I've loved watching her grow as both a reader and a writer. So this year, we've been focusing on strengthening her reading and writing skills. In reading, we've been working on more than just decoding words, so this is sounding them out. We've also been engaging with the material more deeply by thinking critically. So we're asking questions and making connections to things she already knows. For writing, we're helping her organize her ideas and express herself more clearly. I've been really impressed with her progress, and it's exciting to see her gaining confidence in these areas. One framework I want to share with you today is Duke and Cartwright's active view of reading. So this approach encourages students to be active participants in their reading by engaging with the text in a more interactive way. So like I'd mentioned previously, that's what we're working on in reading. So this looks like instead of just reading the words, it's about thinking through the content. So again, asking the questions, making predictions, and connecting the story to things they already know. Because when it's relatable, it's so much easier for students. So that's the route we are choosing. It helps the students better understand and remember what they've read, almost like having a conversation with the book. To get a sense of where Sally is, I've been using a few one-on-one assessments. The first set of assessments included just interest surveys and an informal interview. They're designed to give us more insight on what excites her about reading and writing and where she feels confident or where she might need a little extra support. I learned that Sally really enjoys reading. I love that, especially about animals and princesses, and she likes improving her skills and reading to her siblings. I thought that was so sweet. When it comes to writing, she loves expressing her ideas, especially in informational writing. While she loves reading, she does enjoy playing a bit more in her free time, which is totally normal for her age. Next, we moved on to other assessments like the picture walk and the retelling evaluation, which they tie into the active view of reading framework as well. The picture walk encourages students to engage with the story by making predictions and connecting the visuals to the text. This helps assess their ability to sequence events and make connections between pictures and words. Sally was very engaged in this activity and used strategies like predicting and asking questions to understand the story. However, she does need a bit more practice with sequencing the events, so in the right order, and we'll work on that moving forward. The retelling evaluation looks at how well students can retell a story, which helps me understand their grasp of the story structure, like identifying the setting, the characters, a problem, and the solution. Sally did a good job of understanding the main story elements, but she struggled a little with providing detailed descriptions of characters and organizing the story in a clear way. So, for example, she often used vague terms like everybody instead of naming specific characters. She also had a hard time identifying the goal or events that moved the story forward. But she did offer a solution when a new character helped the main character. So to help Sally in this area, I'll work with her on structuring her retellings, so focusing on a clear beginning, middle, and end, and providing more specific character details. At home, you can help by discussing picture books together. So you can ask her to predict what might happen next or how her character is feeling. Encourage her to retell the stories with more details and ask open-ended questions like, how did the character feel at this moment? Or what do you think will happen next? These type of discussions will help her engage even more deeply with the text. So if you have some favorite books you like to read, you can start trying that out with her. If we're going to the library soon, I can have some books sent home with her as well. Any books will work great. Just that's something that you could do with her. And now I want to talk about some additional assessments I've given Sally to better understand her progress and key reading skills. These include the phonological awareness screening tests, so the PAST, P-A-S-T, the LETRS phonics and word reading survey, and lastly, the elementary spelling inventory. Don't get caught up too much in the names. Basically, these assessments focus on recognizing letter sounds, blending sounds together, and understanding how words are structured. So by using the previous framework I'd mentioned, the Duke and Cartwright's active view of reading, I can see how well Sally is interacting with text and where we support her to improve these skills. So, from these assessments, Sally has really strong skills in recognizing letters and sight words, which is a big strength. She's also good at breaking down simple words into syllables, which is a crucial skill for reading. When it comes to decoding words, so figuring out how to read them, Sally is excelling with letters and sounds. She knows many high-frequency words and has a good understanding of how letters combine to form sounds. This helps her read more quickly and confidently. That said, Sally is still working on more complex words, especially ones with long vowel sounds or multiple syllables. Words like wonderful or birthday can be tricky for her because they're longer and have more complicated sounds. We'll continue practicing with shorter, simpler words to help her build more confidence, and over time, these more challenging words will start to feel easier. To help Sally with this, I plan on focusing on exercises that involve multisyllabic words and vowel sounds, so using repetition to build confidence and how automatic she can do that. At home, you can support her by practicing blending sounds, so pointing out vowel patterns in words and encouraging her to break down longer words when reading aloud. Fun activities like reading books that focus on sound patterns will also help make the process more engaging. And I, of course, again, don't mind sending home a packet to make this a little easier for you, or suggested books, or providing some books, anything you need. We can talk about that at the end of this conference. So finally, we assess Sally's OFR, or oral reading fluency, along with the story sequencing and retelling. So these are comprehension assessments. They're designed to assess Sally's reading fluency, comprehension, and ability to engage with both explicit and implicit content in the text, and were grounded in frameworks such as the Duke and Cartwright's active view of reading. We're really loving this framework. The goal is to measure how effectively Sally combines word recognition, so fluency, with language comprehension to enhance her overall reading skills. So, by pinpointing her strengths and areas requiring additional support, we can gain insights into her reading development and outline the next steps for her progress. So, the breakdown, when it comes to comprehension, Sally shines. She's excellent at understanding the deeper meaning of stories, like recognizing the emotions of characters and connecting events to those emotions. This shows that she's really thinking about the story beyond just the surface details. However, she did miss out on some of the more straightforward details at times, like remembering exactly where things happen or recalling specific facts. This is completely normal, and it's something we can work on together. Sally's reading fluency, with an OF score of 65 words correct per minute, falls below the average level for 3rd grade, suggesting she has difficulty with smooth reading and tends to prioritize decoding over understanding. This impacts her capacity to grasp both explicit and implicit information. Although she excels in inferential comprehension, she finds it challenging to remember specific details, like the precise location of the videotape or particular plot elements, indicating a disconnect between her decoding skills and comprehension. One key area we'll focus on in improving her fluency is how smoothly and quickly she can read. The more comfortable she gets with reading fluency, the easier it will be for her to focus on understanding the meaning behind the words. Our goal is to help her read so naturally that it doesn't get in the way of understanding the story. At home, you can help her with reading regularly. Again, just reading with her and doing some of these activities is the best thing you can do for Sally. So even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a big difference. You can pick short, fun books to keep her engaged while practicing. Again, I'll have those packets or anything that you have heard throughout the conference if you'd like me to move forward with and provide you. We will look into that. In summary, Sally's on the right path. She's doing really well with the basics of reading, like letter sounds, sight words, and understanding the deeper meaning of stories. To keep moving forward, we'll focus on building her fluency and attention to the specific details of the story. With your support, I'm confident she'll continue to grow as a reader. So, with that, I am finished talking. Do you have any questions or anything you'd like to discuss further?